Good morning, Year 5. I hope you all had a lovely weekend and welcome to today's maths lesson. So today we're going to be doing something slightly different to last week. We're going to be using something called an area model. But firstly, before we begin the lesson, could you please pause this video and write the date and the LO in your maths book? So the date should be the 11th of the 1st, 21, and the learning outcome is to multiply two digits by using the area model. So do that now. Okay, so for this lesson, you're going to need to know a little bit about Dean's blocks. Some of you might have worked with them before, but we're just going to check our understanding. So as a starter activity, I'd like you to match these Dean blocks to their correct representative down at the bottom. So in your book, you could write A equals and then one of these numbers. So pause the video and do that in your maths book now. Okay, so I've put the answers for you on the board now. So A equals 1 because it is made up of one block. B equals 10 because it is made up of 10 individual blocks. C is 100 because it has 100 blocks. And D is 1000 because it has 1000 blocks. So well done if you got that correct. Okay, so like I was talking about earlier, today we're going to be working with something called an area model. And this picture here shows what we call an area model, which helps us to multiply two-digit numbers. So firstly, I want us to try and work out what multiplication this area model represents. And we can do this by looking at the Dean's block at the top and on the side. So pause the video and have a go at working out what multiplication this area model represents. Okay, so well done if you had a go at that because we've not done this before. So as you can see, I've removed the question marks and replaced it with a number on each of the sides. So I know that this area model shows the multiplication 24 times 12 because I've looked at the Dean's blocks on the top and on the side. So firstly, let's have a look at the top. So we know this is 24 because we have two lots of 10 Dean blocks and 4 lots of 1. So if we add that together, we have 10, 20 and 4, which is 24. And now let's look at the side. So I know this is 12 because I have 1 10 Dean's block and 2 1s. So 1 10 and 2 1s makes 12. So that is how I know that this area model shows the multiplication 24 times 12. So well done if you got that correct. Okay, so now what we need to do is think about how we would find the answer to this multiplication. So just have a little think about what you think we might do to find our product or our answer to 24 times 12 by looking at this area model. Okay, so how we find the answer is by looking at what each Dean's block represents and adding those together. So if we look at the top left box, this here represents two lots of 100. So we know this box here represents 200. I'm just going to put that there so we remember. Now let's have a look at this block here. So here we have 4 lots of 10, which is 40. So we know this box here represents 40. Okay, and now let's have a look at the top right. So again, this is the same as this box, but in a different way. So we have 4 lots of 10, which again is 40. Okay, and now in our bottom right box, we have some 1s, and we have 8 of those 1s. So we know that this box represents 8. But now we need to add these all together to get our answer. So we've got 200, 40, 8 and 40. So all together, that is 288. So we've found our answer to 24 times 12 by adding up all these Dean's blocks within the area model. And that is how we use the area model. Okay, so now I've got another example of an area model multiplication on the board. And what I'd like you to do after watching me model how to do it is try and find what this multiplication is and what the answer would be. So remember, we find what the multiplication is by looking at the top and on the side. And then we find the answer by adding up all of our Dean's blocks. So just pause the video and have a go at doing that now in your maths book. Okay, so well done for having a go. As you can see on the board, I've removed the black blocks so you can now see the answers. So this area model represents the multiplication 22 and 31. And we know this by looking firstly at the top. So we have two tens Dean's block, which is 20, and then we have two ones, which is 2. So then we know when we add those together, we have 22. Okay, and now let's look at the side. So here we have 31 because we have 3 lots of 10 and 1 1, which is 31. So now we know that this area model is showing 22 times 31. Okay, so now we need to find the answer by adding up all of our Dean's block within the area model. So firstly, let's look at these green ones. So we know this is 100 and we have 6 lots of 100. So here we have 600. And now let's look at the bottom row. So here we have 2 tens and 2 ones. So our bottom row is 22. And then on the side here, we have 6 lots of 10, which would be 60. So we know what each of these represent, and now we need to add up our answers. So we've got 60, 600, and 22. So altogether, that would be 682. So now we have our answer to 22 times 31 from using the area model. So well done if you got both of those answers correct. Okay, so now that I've taught you the step 1 input, I would like you to pause this video and have a go at step 1 of the worksheet in your maths book. Okay, and now let's start explore phase step 2. So I have a question for you on the board. If I wanted to multiply 22 by 35, how could I arrange these Dean's block here to help me within the area model? So what I want you to do is pause the video and draw an area model that represents 22 by 35. And if you want to challenge yourself, try and work out the answer too by drawing some Dean's block here. But remember, you don't need to draw the individual squares, just the overall shape. You can label them if you need to. So pause the video now and have a go at that in your maths book. Okay, well done everyone. So firstly, let's have a look at how we represent 22 times 35. So at the top here, I've got 22 because I've got 2 tens and 2 ones, which is 22. And here on the side, I have 35 because I have 3 tens and 5 ones, which is 35. So firstly, just check if you've got this part of the area model correct. So you should have 22 times 35. Okay, now let's have a look at how we work out the answer. So here is what it should look like. And we do this by breaking down the multiplications. So firstly, I've got 600 here because I've multiplied 30 by 20. So I've done that part of the multiplication. But I still have 2 here, so I need to multiply my 30 by 2 to get 60. And now we need to do the next part. So I've got 5 ones and 2 tens. So 5 times 20 is 100. And 5 times 2 is 10. So it's quite confusing, but I've broke it down to try and work out the multiplication 22 times 35. And now we have our answers, so we need to add them together to get our product, our final answer. So we have 600, 60, 110, which calculates to 770. So we've used this area model to calculate 22 times 35, and we've got 770 by adding up our Dean's block. So well done everyone if you got that correct. Okay, and for those of you that find it confusing with Dean's blocks, we can also do it with numbers. So here, I've got a multiplication and I've used numbers. So firstly, pause the video and think about what this multiplication is. What two-digit numbers are we timesing together? Okay, so pause the video and have a little think. Okay, so this area model is showing the multiplication 22 times 42, because we have 20 and 4, which is 24, and 40 and 2, which is 42. So now we know this area model is showing 24 times 42. So well done if you got that correct. And now we need to think about how we would find our answer. So just pause the video and have a little think about what you might do to find the answer. Okay, so if you're feeling confident that you know how to find the answer of this area model, you can pause the video and do that now. But if you're still unsure, I'll go through it with you now. So firstly, we need to start with one number and multiply it by the other. So let's start with 40. So we need to multiply 40 by 20, which would be 800. I'm going to write 800 here. But we still have our 4, so we need to multiply 4 by 40, which would be 160. Okay, and now let's go to 2. So now here we need to multiply 2 and 20, which would be 40. And then here we need to multiply 2 and 4, which would be 8. So now we have 800, 160, 40 and 8, which we need to add all together to find our answer. So the answer therefore would be 1008. Because if we add 160 and 40 together, that's 200. Add our 800, that's 1000, and our 8, 1008. So well done if you had a go at that, okay? Okay, so now that I've taught you the step 2 input, I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at step 2 of the worksheet. Okay, so for those of you that fancy a challenge, this is the step 3 explore phase. So I have a problem for you on the board that I'd like you to solve. Tim is wanting to buy a roll of carpet for his lounge which measures 32 metres by 35 metres. He decided to order a roll of 1,200 metre squares. Will that be enough? Now what you need to do is pause the video and use the area model to solve your problem. And you can do that by either using numbers or Dean's blocks, whichever you prefer. So pause the video and have a go at solving that problem. Okay, so here is the answer to that problem. So I've decided to use numbers on the area model to solve 32 times 35. So here I have 32 and on the side I have 35. And I started by multiplying 30 by 30, which is 900, then 30 by 2, which is 60, then 5 by 30, which is 150, and 5 by 2, which is 10. And then I needed to add all of these numbers together to get my answer, which was 1,120 metres square. So to answer this problem, Tim does have enough of carpet because he ordered 1,200 metres squared, and the carpet in his lounge needs to be at least 1,120 metres squares. So well done if you got that correct. Okay, so for those of you that want a challenge, this is step 3 and the extension of the worksheet. So pause the video to complete that in your maths book. Okay, well done everyone for completing your independent work. And on the board now I have the answers for step 1 and step 2 of the worksheet. So pause the video now to mark your answers in your book. Okay, and here we have the step 3 and extension answers on the board. So pause the video to mark your step 3 of the worksheet and your extension if you have done that. Once you have finished marking all of your work, could you please write a learning comment in your book? If you don't have a purple pen, that is fine, as long as you have a learning comment at the end of your work. Okay, thanks Year 5 for all of your hard work this morning, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.